We are live today from the beautiful Mississippi Gulf Coast. We're here because it's convention time for the Mississippi Municipal League. This is the time of the year, the event where all of the municipal county leaders from across our state gather together to exchange ideas and network and hear speeches and try to get better at running their respective cities and counties. And joining us now, speaking of which, is the mayor of the great city of Natchez, Mississippi, Mayor Dan Gibson. Good to see you, sir. I know It's been crazy this morning. Glad we worked it out. Glad to have you.
Great to see you.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for having me on and for waiting for me.
Oh, no problem. It's no problem whatsoever. We got a full slate of your colleagues, shall we say, your peers at least, scheduled for the program today. And we always enjoy coming down here and visiting with community leaders because that's where people are most impacted. That's where government is most effective and where it can be the most beneficial to its citizens.
That's right.
In making these great communities across the state of Mississippi where we live. Speaking of which, how's it going in Natchez?
Oh, I'm missing Natchez. Just to be away just a few days from that beautiful city, I get homesick.
It is awesome, yeah.
And but Natchez, we're doing really well.
Yeah.
We're just blessed. We're having a lot of opportunity, a lot of people moving in, finding ways to make a new living in this beautiful city. I think some of them are just looking for an excuse to live in Natchez, frankly. But you said it right. Local government, that is where the rubber really hits the road in Mississippi and all across our country. And I've always really enjoyed being in public service. But to be a public servant in a small town where everybody knows your number and knows where you live and knows where you sit at church is quite different. And some may not be cut out for it. Some may be. I hope I am. But I will tell you, I count every day a blessing.
Yeah. Well, and in that role, it's no secret. You get everything and the kitchen sink thrown at you. That's just part of it. I mean, you know that when you sign up for it, though. You understand that.
You better
and like you
know
said,
that.
these are your friends. I mean, these are people you can't escape. You interact with them. You're in social events with them. You're at church with them. You're out and about in the city. But that's what it's all about.
That's right. And hopefully you're there to make a difference.
Yeah.
If you're there to enrich yourself, you're in the wrong place, or they have definitely hired the wrong person in electing you. No, you should be there to just make your city better, and you should be there because you have a general love and compassion for people, and you want to help people.
You've had a focus, Mayor, I think it's safe to say, on really revitalizing the city of Natchez.
Yes.
It's been through its various eras, peaks and declines, which is not unusual, but you've really put a focus on that to try to bring it back, to restore it, and you've done a good job that I see your announcements all the time. I follow that, and I see the events and the activities and that are going on. But it's a labor of love for you, it looks like.
It really is. And Gerard, thank you for always calling out Natchez and including me at times on SuperTalk.
Sure.
We love SuperTalk, always have. But, I stepped forward because I wanted to make a difference, felt like I could. And it was a time, too, where our nation was so embroiled in the divisive, I call it just the division of politics dividing our country. And I thought, well, no, this is a time we should be coming together. And during that time of national pandemic, when so many cities across the country were struggling, we found it a good time to absolutely come together in a real positive way to rebuild a great city and to set forward a motion called the Natchez Renewal. We now are in our third year, about to start our fourth year of this Natchez Renewal. And during this time, we've celebrated so many new jobs, business openings, people moving to Natchez, people returning to Natchez who had moved away, over 700 houses sold, and also a historic time without raising taxes to renew our parks, to renew our public buildings. We're about to break ground on a $6 million project to renew our streets. And in this time also to bring people together. I hate the politics, as I said a minute ago, of division. It's not Democrat, Republican. It's not black, white. It's not all the things that we traditionally have seen used to divide the people of this country. But it's about just doing what's good for the city. And celebrating unity has really meant more community and more opportunity.
Yeah, and Natchez, we should point out, is obviously a very old community. It's positioned there on the river, and has an incredibly rich history, and the museum around there is really cool as well.
Oh,
by the way, that showcases the city. But it's also a very diverse community, culturally, politically as well.
It is, and it's sometimes a challenge.
Sure.
But it's a real blessing, because to me, diversity just makes you better, makes you stronger, and everyone wants to have a part in it. And when you deny one group or another, you're really narrowing the possibilities. So we've just opened the door open. What's good for Natchez, and also how can we come together? This historic city, some of that history is not all that great.
Right.
And we're at a time where I just tell people, well, while we celebrate so much of the past, 300 years, the oldest city on that beautiful river, it is a time now to really look forward, the new opportunities that we have. And I want to just thank people from our local level all the way up to our state and federal. Gerard, they're all working together, and it has brought a record number of opportunities to us, including millions upon millions in grants. And we are counting those grants and federal funds, state funds, and it is amazing. And that is great for a small town, because we don't have to look to the local economy and taxes to do everything.
Well, it's I've seen it. It's been a remarkable, I think, revitalization and restoring the city to its grand days, which is really kind of cool to watch. You've done a great job with that. So let's talk about something maybe a little more thorny, but how are you doing financially? I mean, you talked about the grants you got coming in and so forth, which are critical to the operation of municipalities, but what about just your overall revenue structure?
When I came into office in 2020, we also, as part of that Natchez renewal, was financial renewal.
Yeah.
The city was 3 years behind on our audits. The city had been borrowing money to make payroll. Well, let me just tell you now, we not only are up to date on our audits, we're running a surplus, and not only are we not having to borrow money anymore, we actually have been able to give raises, in some cases, 2 and maybe even upcoming soon a third time, because we're doing what we have to keep our officers and also to keep our firefighters, our public works employees, and to be competitive. But in addition to that, we found that through just rolling our sleeves up and doing the work, we found that there were untapped resources. And I believe in the Bible, you have not, for you ask not. Gerard, we've been doing a lot of asking, and we've been getting a lot of answers. And so this has helped us, along with some local bond issues. We then have brought in state and federal funds to match those. And that has meant somewhere between 30-40 million.
Wow.
And we're working to reach 50 million this year. And we are working with the county. We're working with all of our community partners, tourism, the historic foundations, the Department of Archives and History at the state level. And it truly is great to see teamwork making a dream work.
Yeah, that's awesome. So one thing you got coming up that I want to ask you about is the increase in the PERS contribution. You know, that's scheduled to go into effect this time next year.
That's right.
Have you accommodated that in your budget? You planning for that now?
We are already planning it, and we are going to budget for it, and we have no choice.
You're right.
But we are waiting to see what the final numbers will be. Okay. But one thing we've been doing is being careful with our spending.
Sure.
And we are managing to run surpluses, and we just don't advertise it because you don't want everybody spending the surplus. But
they'll be tugging at you too, won't they?
We're going to be okay. And we're going to be able to do it without raising taxes and continuing everything we're doing. $3 million about to go into our convention center, $2 million into our city auditorium. In about 2 weeks, we'll break ground on a $1 million renovation of our golf clubhouse. We have just finished renovation of a community center, about an $800,000 project. And as I said, the $6 million project that's soon to happen on our roads. You can manage money, and you can get the things done for the people and take care of your employees and not just depend on taxes to do it if you're willing to do the work and find the solutions that are out there outside the box.
Just got to be smart about it at the end of the day.
And you got to work. You don't show up and take a 2-hour lunch and then go play. You know,
so right.
I'm not a good golfer anyway, so that's actually a good thing.
So right. Before we go, I just want to point something out. The little area with the convention center on the river and the hotel and the Riverwalk is breathtaking. I got to speak down there to the cemetery convention about a year ago.
They loved having you.
And I so appreciate that opportunity and took some time to take that tour, went to the museum, went down the Riverwalk. It's incredible when you think about not only the breathtaking view, but all the history associated with that point. It's unbelievable.
It is.
It's maybe a hidden gem in our state a lot of people don't know about.
The highest bluff and the most majestic view of that river from top to bottom. It is great.
Mayor, thanks for coming on, sir.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all your success in the city of Natchez. Mayor Dan Gibson.